You're listening to WooSox Insider, presented by your Worcester Red Sox.
Welcome back to WooSox Insider. For Dave Leonardi, our fearless producer, I am Brendan Black. Nat Reed is not with us today, but we are joined by two of our content team here at the Worcester Red Sox. Long overdue, I think, to have them on the podcast here. And, you know, this is WooSox Insider, and I think they are about as close as you can be to being an insider on this team. They work right out of the photo pit during games where they are right next to the players. They're running around the park. They know Polar Park, the ins and outs of it, probably better than anyone else. They constantly move. They end their days kind of looking like an absolute wreck. I don't think I'm saying anything that's untruthful or mean. That's just how hard they work every single day. So let's welcome in. This is Ashley Green and Eddie Monigan. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the podcast.
What's up?
This
Excited
is awesome.
to be here.
Yeah, this is great to have both of you guys here. So just to set the scene here, Ashley, you are a photographer. You've been in photography for a while now. I know that you were in the journalism side of things, and now you have, really kind of gone into this cool mix of freelancing and then also working for the Worcester Red Sox and being a part of the content team. So yeah, if you just give me a little bit of background on yourself.
Yeah, so I actually went to college for photography. I went to Fitchburg State back when it was Fitchburg State College, and then I graduated when it was Fitchburg State University. So aging myself a little bit there, but didn't really know like what I wanted or what I could do with a photography career. I loved like taking pictures of my friends, stuff. And part of my degree was doing an internship. And my advisor set me up with the newspaper in my hometown, which is Fitchburg, and it was the Sentinel and Enterprise. So did my internship there, and then there happened to be an opening shortly after at the Lowell Sun. So I worked there on weekends for a little over a year, and then I lucked out kind of again. There was an opening back at the Sentinel, so went there full time, spent like 5 or 6 years maybe there, and then moved up to Worcester. The Telegram had an opening, someone left there. I already knew a lot of the photographers there. I'd worked with them at jobs, at sports, at events. So ended up working 2 years, and then did that through kind of like COVID and the pandemic, and that was a whole adventure in itself, doing journalism during all of that. But yeah, I was there for the first year of Polar Park and the WooSox as a photographer for the newspaper. And then I also do weddings and portraits and stuff like that on the side. So decided it was time to leave journalism, chase my business kind of full time, I guess. And I lasted all of about like 5 or 6 months because then baseball started again and I could not stay away, and I was very lucky that the WooSox took me on, and so spent all of last year as one of the team photographers, and yeah, that kind of brings us up to now.
Yeah, I it's funny because it was just last year that you started with the team covering as a employee of the WooSox, but I could have sworn the year before you were as well.
Yeah.
Because you were there almost every single home game. You were synonymous with the other, with WooSox Productions kind of at that point. And it felt like a perfect fit when, it was announced that you were going to be also a part of our extremely talented content team, and just adding that whole new level to it. And so it's exciting to have you back on this basis for the second year. For the second year for Eddie Monigan as well, who, if I recall correctly, before joining the Worcester Red Sox, you focused mostly on photography, and that's where you were most comfortable. And then we hire you and say, cool, that's awesome. You're a videographer now. So Eddie, give me a little background on that, because if anyone has seen any video that you watch in Polar Park that is not a part of our broadcast footage, which there's a difference. If you were to put these aside, you would see the differences between the creativeness and the the aesthetic of what Eddie has been able to produce over his first season, and we know just more coming up. So Eddie, give us a little bit of a background here on yourself.
All right. Well, I don't have as much experience as Ashley does, so it's going to sound a
Eddie,
little
how
bit
old are
toned
you?
down for
Where
me.
are you? Where are
But
you right now? You're
yeah,
at
I'm
what point in your
currently.
college career?
What is it?
At what point in your college career?
I'm a junior right now.
Yeah.
I'm a
Okay.
junior at Bentley
Okay.
University.
So you,
Ever since freshman year, I've been one of their, their lead photographer, running pretty much everything photo, video at the university. I do freelance work for Harvard, doing creative video for them, and I'm the team videographer for the WooSox. It's a blast.
and those are all based around athletics. So you are,
Yeah,
you have covered Harvard at the Beanpot. You've covered football. You've covered obviously any Bentley sport, that kind of thing. So you've kind of had this wide ranging, and now as a I started as a photographer. Now you're a videographer. What just being a part and being in the pit for professional games and being able to be that close to the sport, and then also getting to see the college side of things, what are the differences between just covering a college sport and then showing up to Polar Park and covering these guys who are one step away from the big leagues.
yeah. So I mean, the main difference when I first started is the level of comfortability, because a lot of the times I'm in classes with the kids at Bentley or any of the athletes, and like I know them from just like my friend group and all that. But getting close to the athletes when they're on a professional level is a little bit different, and it took a little bit of time for me to get acclimated with that and realize that like you can still be close to them even if you're not like best friends or anything like that. But it's a blast talking to all the guys whenever they're walking in and out of the dugout. Most of them, say hi, all that kind of stuff. Um, but it's a lot of fun.
So Ashley, you are closer to myself in age, and I am 29. So that was kind of one of those things initially with joining the team. It was like, okay, this is really cool. This is Tristan Casas right here. I have 6 years on Tristan Casas, so it's like that aspect of it. But coming from the journalism side of things versus being on the team as a team photographer, what were those differences for you? What is your daily differences between when you're covering a team from a journalistic aspect or covering as someone a part of a content team that is tasked with producing all of the things that our fans see?
Yeah, I mean, there's honestly there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences. Being a journalist, you always want to try to be very impartial and, not really take sides. And, I'm covering the team, but I'm not supposed to be a fan of the team. Anyone who knows me at this point in my life, on Twitter, anything, knows I'm a huge Red Sox fan. And I think now that I work for the WooSox, I don't really try to hide that as much anymore, because I'm like, my job is not compromised because I'm a Red Sox fan. And I'm still able to do my job, and I love baseball, and hopefully my job better because I love baseball and I know the players and the ins and outs of the team and stuff like that. Coming from journalism, it was always different because I was on a print deadline. I remember opening day in 2021. I had a print deadline, and journalism is much different now, even from when I started. I used to have 11 o'clock deadlines when I started in journalism. And I think when I left, we had a 4 or 4:30 deadline every day. And so opening day in 2021, I think I shot all of the ceremonies and the first pitches and then the actual first pitch of the game. And then I ran straight up to the press box full speed, had my computer all set up, missed half the game because I was editing for like my print deadline to make sure we could turn it over for the next day, get it on the front page, because of course for like 2 or 3 years, ever since they agreed to come to Worcester, we were building up this moment, covering every event and like every single thing that led up to it. And so it was a big deal to like finally have it here and be able to cover the first game and all of that. So that was super cool, but definitely so nice now not to have to like, I still try to do a lot of editing during the games and in the pit and after the games, but now it's more like, okay, let's get this Instagram post together and let's get this up because Fitzy just hit a home run or something. So it's kind of focusing on like a few photos that we know we want to throw online really quick for fans, but not like editing a whole gallery for a print deadline or to be on a newspaper's website the second the game ends. But that probably like helped me to be a pretty quick editor and know how to do all of that quickly and get through it because I was so used to years of working on these print deadlines. I covered a lot of sports in high school and college and stuff like that, the newspaper, and kind of every season starts, like football starts again or something, and you're like, oh man, I like forget how to shoot this sport. Like need a few games to like get back into it, or when basketball comes around or whatever. But it's kind of nice now to like just be able to focus on baseball and not like pivot to those other sports all the time. So yeah, it's been fun to just focus on like the one thing I love a lot. So
Yeah, and so I think that's kind of a one of the things that really stuck out to me there is, as obviously, if someone is following our WooSox social media accounts, you will know that during a game, well, you could tell that the game is being played because we are pushing out content in real time, showing you what has just happened in the game. If you're not in the park or you're not able to catch us on Nesson or Nesson Plus, and the ability to turn that around that quickly, I think I'd imagine, Eddie, if you have a good shot, it's because of what happened during that play, a home run. Obviously, that right there. But from a photography side, Ashley, how do you know how quickly, like when you take a photo, I know like, if the equipment that, you're taking, you could take 1,000 photos in a very short amount of time. When you take a picture, how quickly do you know, okay, well, I think I got something there? Is it immediate, or is it you have to sit down, go back to them, or is that, just kind of comes natural as you're going through the process?
I mean, I think it depends on the situation. It changes all the times. A lot of times, or hopefully not a lot of times, but sometimes you'll think you have the shot and you look through your camera really quick and the ump stepped in front of you and you get the M or something instead. When that doesn't happen, though, you do know you got the shot pretty quick because technology now is so fast. I am older than Eddie, so I did not start on. I've always shot on digital, but technology, you look at your cameras right away. Memory cards are super fast. So you hit play on your camera, right away, like if that shot's there. And we have a pretty good system of all leaving our laptops, like right in the pit, pop your memory card out, maybe make sure one of the other photographers is still shooting just in case something else big happens. Or, wait until between the half an inning when there's kind of a break and, sit down with your laptop for a few minutes, get those shots over to last year. Brian was our social media manager, but this year we'll have Taylor. So get those shots together, decide on what the best shots are and what should go in a post on Instagram. So
what would you say is your favorite photo that you took last year?
Oh man, there are so many. I think I can only come up with this one. There's so many, but I have my my stack of baseball cards is sitting on my desk from last year. And the top one is Jaron had a bat flip last year that was like massive. And that's pretty cool to like get shots like that. Like I said, those are just kind of sitting there. So I look down and it's there. But I don't know, it's tough because I love a lot of like the environmental stuff about baseball too. So walking around the park, seeing families together, young fans. I love taking a walk around the park and catching like a good sunset.
We all.
So yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to pick like just one. If you ask me during the season, it probably would change like all the time.
So that's something interesting brought up there is you just showed the baseball cards. And so, Eddie, you formerly obviously come from the photography background where that's how you can see your stuff. You see your stuff in that still frame. But now you get to every single day during our pregame ceremonies or during the game, you can look up at almost any given time when the play isn't actually happening, and you can almost expect to see your work being shown to potentially 9,000 people every single night in that park. What's that feeling like for you? And like, and Eddie's not just taking the videos. A majority of those videos he is also putting together and editing himself. So you're taking it from the footage on the field, editing it, and then that's what goes up, and that's what the fans get to be entertained with while they're not watching the actual play. What's that feeling like?
It's honestly surreal. It's a completely different feeling than having photos printed. I mean, it didn't really hit me for the first couple weeks of the season, but I remember I think it was the third homestand, and I looked up and I saw the recap video that I made, and I saw everyone in the stadium also looking up and watching it, and I just thought like, wow, this is really cool that we have pretty much the entire attendance of Polar Park watching a video that I made. Um, it's hard to realize that at first because you don't have like, a number of like people watching reviews on it. But for social media, it definitely hit me. There was a video I took, I had the camera on a gimbal and I followed Kike Hernandez up to the plate when he was on a rehab start. And that got, I think, around 300,000 views on TikTok, which that was the first video that I made that completely blew up.
That was a
And
beautiful video.
seeing that was just, oh man, I just couldn't believe when I saw that. I've never seen that amount of, views or likes on the video before. And I just couldn't imagine like, wow, I can't believe I did that. That's crazy.
And so that's kind of an interesting dynamic, I also think, to being a photographer or a videographer with the field. What is the limitations that you both have, like restricted by the field, by the game itself? Where can you be during a game? Where can't you be? Like, can you, if you wanted to, like were you only able to walk up with Kike because he was the first batter of the game or the batter of the inning for them? Like, how does that work?
So that was a little bit of a situation where it's, do something first, and then if something's wrong, apologize for it. But he was the first. He was the first batter of the game. He was leading off, so I was really glad about that. I followed him out of the tunnel too, which is cool. And then I just waited right by the gate to the dugout, and then got his bat, got ready and everything, put the donut on, and I just followed him up to the plate, and then had to run as fast as I could off the field. But most of the limitations are just during the game. Obviously, stay in the pit or stay in the stands. If you've been to a game last year, you've probably seen me running around the stadium at some point, trying to get a shot, or after getting a shot, sprinting back after a home run, all that kind of stuff. But pretty much it's just during the game, you can't go on the field. But besides that, you can try pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah, I think for
Ash.
me, like last year it was the first time I was like a team photographer instead of being like a newspaper photographer. I felt a little more comfortable, like, okay, this is my space. Like I work here, we all work here together. Whereas the year before I was kind of like, okay, I gotta back off. I gotta make sure I let the team employees, the team videographers, photographers do their own thing, and then I can also get my thing around them. So I definitely felt like a new level of comfort last year in comparison to the first year, which was really cool to experience and just to feel like, okay, I can be, in the dugout with the guys, not during the game, but like in the tunnel before the game, after the game, when they're signing for fans. Our players are awesome about staying for so long after games and signing for kids and throwing up hats and stuff like that. So we're always trying to capture moments like that, shooting them and just being like, grabbing all those moments. So really cool to just feel like I have that access where the guys know we're here to make them look good and they're doing a good thing for the kids, like showing off that. And when they give us more access to stuff like that, I think it's just good for everyone. So
Speaking of like some fun with the players, I know sometimes the broadcast will catch like a WooSox player or an away player, get like one of the broadcast cameras and go and do the live feed. Has you guys ever had a player try and ask to take some photos with your cameras or any video or whatever?
It hasn't happened to me yet. But yeah, Yolmer grabbed a camera last year, a broadcast camera. I was not at the game that day. I think I was shooting a wedding, and I want to say Taylor maybe was texting all of us and was telling us that Franchi was on. I mean, Yolmer was on a broadcast cam, and we were just losing it. We were all so upset we weren't working that game, and we
Eddie,
missed
you were
it.
nodding yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do
Franchi
actually have
grabbed
a
everyone's
video
camera
of
too.
Franchi taking either Nat or Taylor's camera and taking a
Yep.
photo of, I think it was Brian Keller, Abe Almonte, and then
Yeah.
a
Yep.
couple other people, and they were all posing in the dugout, and he was just looking through it, trying to take photos, and it was great. It was such a fun moment.
I
Yeah, I
think
think I
that
have like the zoomed out version of that. I think
Yeah.
someone has the picture from their camera that Franchi took, and then I think I have like the zoomed out where it's Franchi shooting everyone in the dugout.
that was definitely shown at least in I think in our WooSox 22 towards the end of the season, because that was somewhere later in the season that happened. And I
Yeah,
think
yep.
we ended up using Eddie that shot in some of our videos, and it's like, those are the type of things that they happen a lot during the day, but the fact that you're there and you're ready for it and that you're able to capture those moments is awesome. And I think that just the support and the facilities and everything, that we get to see players in a pretty good mood at the ballpark. I think they really appreciate what they have and what has been set up for them. And then also they appreciate the fact that they can just go online and be like, "Ooh, that was a cool picture of me. Can I get that picture?" What are the do's and don'ts for a professional athlete to do when he gets a beautifully taken photo or video from a very talented photographer or videographer? Either one of you want to take that question?
I think Eddie would probably agree. The first step is not to add your own filter to it. You don't need to add all those Instagram filters. We make the pictures look great for you. It's ready to go. Just throw it up on Instagram the way it is. Hopefully you like the way we edit it or whatever, or shot it. So hopefully the photo's good to go. You know, I don't know. I think
Eddie, how should they save it? How should they save
I was
that
gonna say,
photo?
like, not taking a screenshot.
What are things that WooSox fans can be excited about that you guys are excited about for the content team for 2023? There are always, when it's the off season and you have a little bit more time, you get excited about these ideas, and then the season hits and you're into your every single day thing. So, but what are these ideas right now that we have that we hope to see that fans can get excited for on social media? Eddie, let's start with you from a video side. What's something you're excited about?
Number one is that once it hits 10 days to the season, we might have a little, special 10-day countdown or something like that. Who knows?
Right.
I'm just putting it out there.
Who knows?
But it should be pretty cool. Not, not plugging my own videos or anything, but everybody should go check that out on the WooSox socials because it'll be everywhere. But I'm really excited for everything that we have planned this year. Getting back with the guys is going to be great. Producing some great content with everybody in the team is going to be amazing.
Ashley?
Well, I'm really excited for we'll have media day coming up soon before the season starts. I don't know if people know what that is. If you follow even the Red Sox on Instagram and Twitter, every year you see they do this media day in during spring training. Theirs is a much larger scale than ours is, obviously, but we like to do kind of our own smaller version of that. So coming up with some fun ideas to get cool portraits of the guys, hype fans up for the season, get a lot of content on social for that. So we're going to be kind of changing up the set for that from what we did last year. So that should be fun. And I don't know, I have a real bad feeling we're going to have some snow baseball content coming up because on March 31st, and that is very early in the year. I don't love winter, so it's going to be pretty cold, but
snow photos
I would love
cool.
to shoot some snow baseball would be pretty cool. So I can't guarantee that will happen, but it would be pretty cool. We did have a little bit last year, so
Yeah, snow photos are always fun to look at when it's like July. You're
yeah.
like,
Well, it
that
also
would
like
remember that. Remember when that
yeah,
happened? Yeah.
July typically rains a lot in Worcester, so we're used to shooting in the elements, but that would be a new thing for us.
Yeah, fingers crossed that we have a beautiful day at Polar Park on
Yeah.
March 31st, Friday, March 31st at a 4:05 start. There's going to be a lot of ceremonies. There's going to be a lot of, familiar faces down on the field. Eddie and Ashley will have a shot list that will not fit in their back pocket. They will be trying to cover every single thing that is thrown at them that day. Dave Leonardi will be up in the control booth, getting ready, making sure that all the stats you could ever imagine are ready to go. And then myself will be, hopefully I'll still have hair. But I'm excited for this season. I'm excited for to have both of you back, and for all of the content that you guys are going to have produced already for this season, but will continue to do so. So just lastly, let's hear I'd say the number one moment that you were looking forward to just happening in the 2023 season, whether or not that is your first pitch of the game, you're just ready for the season to go. So Ashley, what are you most looking forward to for this year with the Worcester Red Sox?
I mean, right now I'm definitely super focused on opening day. Like I mentioned before, like I love baseball. Opening day is like a holiday. It's just like there's just such good vibes, even if it's going to be cold. I remember last year we were like bouncing off the walls like little kids, like just so ready to get going and to get baseball back. So just kind of excited to get like back in the groove of things. Kind of personally, I'm really excited to feel more comfortable this year, like going in as the second year as my as being a team photographer. I don't have to like feel it out this year. And, we have some players coming back that we already have built relationships with. So that's really exciting. There's a lot of young kids coming up this year through the Red Sox minor league system. So it's going to be really cool to see who comes up through the year, especially as we hit summer. The Sox start pulling people up and changing. So just looking forward to seeing all of the players that are going to come through Worcester this year.
And Eddie, what are you feeling? I know I'm sure you're rearing to get out there and want to produce all the video content, all the content you can. What are you excited for?
I've been ready since the last day of the season last year. So I'm ready to get back out there. My season started a little bit early, as you can see. I've been at spring training for the past week. Seeing all the guys is great. I got to see last year's fan favorites like Franchi Cordier, Yelmer Sanchez. I got to see it. Like everyone was really happy to see me, say hi, all that kind of stuff. But this year, I think I'm just really happy to get back to it. And like Ashley said, be more comfortable around the players, especially being a second year. I mean, last year, I came in, media day was really my first day working. I didn't know pretty much anybody else on the content team. So I was standing kind of in the corner like, well, this is pretty cool, but kind of got to, get to know everybody first. But this year, being friends with everybody, knowing everyone's going to be great. And I really just can't wait.
Well, we are extremely excited, I think, on all sides of the productions team or front office, anyone, the team itself. This is going to be awesome. Year 3 in Worcester. There is going to be the red carpet rolled out on opening day. We hope to see as many of us our fans as we can there. Again, it is 4:05 on Friday, March 31st for WooSox Insider. That was Ashley Green and Eddie Monigan of our fantastic content team, Dave Leonardi, and myself, Brendan Black. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you guys for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.